Hi everyone, I'm C. I also go by Relatable Doodles, and I've been a comic artist for a little over 3 years now. In this video, I wanted to share a few tips and tricks that I've learned along my journey. So Wacom was super kind to send me one of their latest pen displays. This is the Wacom One, and I've been, using this for a few days, playing around with it, and honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I really like this pen display because it's so easy to transport. Look at it, it's only got one wire. It's the Wacom quality, the high quality pen displays that they make. Yeah, this is the back. It comes with the two stands to support the tablet, and it's at a good angle. I think for me, I really like this angle. And yeah, here it is. I really recommend this tablet if you're looking for an affordable pen display. So before I even draw my comics, I'd like to always start off the day with a little warm-up sketch. It's great to draw every single day. I really recommend drawing even if it's for, say 10 minutes. I know you can't draw much in 10 minutes, but it's still good practice for your hands, and it's a skill that takes time, and with practice you'll start seeing improvements even if it's a little bit every day. Honestly, I can't stress enough how important it is to practice. I know you're probably, sick and tired of hearing this, but yeah, and I'm sure you guys know that practice is important. So yeah, I also like to do a bit of coloring because it sort of relaxes me. When you put the colors down, I think the whole piece comes together. So the next thing I do is I plan the comic. It's great jumping into the comic straight away, but it's always important to have a sort of a gist of what you want to do. You don't have to follow it, word for word, but I think knowing what you want to do is important when you're making a comic. So once I get an idea of what type of things I want to include in the comic, I start sketching thumbnails for each panel. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's just a sort of visualization, if you will, for your brain. I don't know if that made any sense, but you get what I mean, right? Yeah, so it's just to show yourself what you want to include in every single panel. And I feel like this is really important, for me personally anyway, because it helps you sort of keep the final version of the line art really neat. And yeah, I think it's really important to draw a little draft before. Obviously, if you're comfortable just diving straight into the actual piece, then go for it. But for me, I like to sketch everything out and see where everything goes. And I like doing it in red because it kind of helps me think, okay, so this is the draft, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I think when I draw in black, it is sort of bold and it's kind of intimidating to just keep drawing in a bold color. So yeah, I like drawing in a quite off red. So once I'm done sketching the panels, I like going over it in a darker color. Usually I go for black, but sometimes I pick dark blue or dark green. And yeah, the brush that I use is actually the Kyle Manga Basic Rough brush, and it comes with your Photoshop subscription if you use Photoshop. And I really like that brush because it adds a little texture to it, and I don't know, I just like having texture in my comics because, it's not perfect. And yeah, it adds a bit of character to it. Yeah. So this is me drawing. Oh, and by the way, I think that references are really important when you're drawing. I used to never use references, but I realized that when you don't use references, it doesn't turn out nice. Especially poses and hands. Oh gosh, I am terrible at hands. But yeah, always use references, never be afraid to use references. And once I've finished the line art, I go on to colouring. And yeah, my colouring process is pretty straightforward, only because I don't like to overwhelm my audience with a lot of things going on. So I tend to stick to block colouring. The only places where I actually do shading is on the character, as you guys can see right now. And I add shadows and blush, but that's pretty much it in terms of shading. The rest is just block colouring. Most of all, it's easy, and it's easier to consume as a reader. I think personally I like it when webcomics are really simple and have a simple layout and colouring, because it's easier to follow that way, in my opinion. I also like having the colour palettes on the side for my character, only because I really think that consistency in colours with webcomics is really important. I think obviously with the theme you can play around with different colours, but when it comes to the character, it's probably good to keep it the same colour as you usually do, to show consistency and so that your reader doesn't get confused. So the comic that I'm making is about tips to keep creativity flowing whilst you're stuck in quarantine, because I know it's been hard for everyone to be inside, especially in times like this. But I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe and healthy. And here's the final stage, adding fonts to the comic. Possibly one of the most important stages of making a comic, because it ties everything together and adds clarity. So I use my own font. I made this font from scratch, and it's really easy to make your own font. I highly recommend doing that because it adds character to your comics. It really takes that extra step to make your comic truly yours. And of course, if you don't want to create your own font, then that's completely fine. There are a lot of fonts that you can use that already exist with most of the drawing programs. I use Photoshop, and it comes with a lot of fonts that you can use for free. So I'm just going to quickly show you guys the finished product that is this comic. I hope you guys like the way it turned out and that you might have learned something new. Obviously, drop a comment about if you want to have anything clarified. I'll do my best to answer everything that I can. And I hope you guys had a lovely time watching this. Please stay safe and healthy, and obviously look after each other in this time. And I love you guys. Take care. Bye bye.